Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me for Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by the Human Bean in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I'm excited to be here at TCB Services with Matt and Tony. Hi guys.
Hi there. How are you?
Thanks for joining me for Coffee with Kiera today.
Of course.
So let's start off. Tell our audience a little bit about yourselves and a little bit about TCB and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Matt Frank. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of TCB Services. This is Tony Bauer. He's basically our do-it-all parking enforcement, code enforcement, management team kind of guy. He's a corporal with the company, and that's who we are. TCB as a whole does a lot of different things. We are a security company. We are an event staffing company. We have a dispatch center with a call answering service that we service customers throughout the entire country. We do a lot locally, we do a lot statewide. We're kind of all over the place.
So tell us a little bit about the security aspect of it. Let's talk a little bit about that first.
Okay, so what most people are familiar with TCB is probably seeing our patrol officers that are out. We have currently 5 patrol officers. We're looking to add a 6th. We have a candidate that's kind of going through the starting phases of onboarding, and we're going to welcome him to the team. But those are our armed patrol officers that go out and they service businesses, government contracts, and they're all throughout the county. We service clear up to Otis, clear down to Yachats, over to Siletz and Toledo. So those guys are kind of all over the place. And then we have our static sites. So Oregon Coast Community College, the Newport Library,
The
port of Newport, yep. The aquarium, Oregon Coast Aquarium. We have hotels up in the Lincoln City area that we service. And those people are kind of, they stay at those sites and they do the security there. So they monitor cameras, they do shift reports, they have interactions with people, and it's not just about negative stuff. They're not just responding to people that are doing stuff wrong. They are there to make the public feel safe, first of all, to provide great customer service and help wherever they can. And then at times we do have to, address certain behaviors and certain issues that happen, but we're mostly there to make people feel safe and to provide that great customer service that we're known for.
Well, and you work closely with the local police departments too, right?
We do. We work with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Newport PD. We work with Lincoln City PD. We work really close with Toledo PD. We actually have a contract with them to do their code enforcement. So 2 days a week, Tony goes out and he is the code enforcement officer for the city of Toledo. And he works right in the police department. We've got a great relationship with them. And a lot of times we're all there for the same purpose. We're there to keep people safe, and public safety is the goal.
And you have a rigorous training that you do for your patrol officers. You work with Department of Public Safety Standards and Training.
Yep, we do. So they go through basically a 14-hour course. We make it 16 because we add a little bit more to it. And then they have to go through a 24-hour armed course, which is a little more extensive. And we contract out Chris Miller with Logical Response. He does a great job. He's a former law enforcement, former SWAT team. He's really a great guy. Has a lot of knowledge and a lot of history and a lot of background that he works with our officers and kind of shows them the way. And that's just really beneficial. And then we do a lot of internal training once they're hired. They're out on the road with a training officer it's really kind of customized to each person depending on how much experience they have in security or law enforcement or military, and we kind of tailor that to what they need. And then we do a lot of internal training where we'll go and we'll do an active shooter drill. We'll go and we'll train on how to clear houses. We do have an alarm response section of our company. So we respond to a lot of alarms that the county or the city can't get to because they're bogged down with calls.
Well, and there's spread out all over the place.
Exactly, and they're very, very busy, and they have large call loads, and so we're kind of that line of defense where we are trying to bridge that gap between the non-emergent stuff and the emergent stuff to kind of help the community and keep people safe and respond to those things that might not be a priority to law enforcement, but are a huge priority to us.
And Tony, tell us a little bit about your work here at TCB and being a code enforcement officer and what you do.
Well, 2 days a week I do code enforcement in Toledo, and my primary goal is compliance. I'm not out there with the ticket book to make people feel angry and upset because they have excess trash in their yard. Mine is to go and do a knock and talk and say, hey, this is something that we got to address. Here's the timeline I give them, and I usually give them a couple weeks, come back and see what their progress is. And that's what my main goal is, to them show progress. I have cases that are open from last year, but they do make progress. So I don't hammer down on them with a ticket, but because it's about compliance. So like Matt said, I have a good rapport with the officers at Toledo. They have my back and I have their back. And hopefully we'll get moved into the new building soon. It's been a really good transition with Chief Pace. Him and I are like brothers from another mother. But Toledo's a great place. I wish I was there full time, but you know, budget is a budget. So
do you offer your clients some resources available to them as well?
If I need to, like some of our senior clients I refer them to their church, senior services, and just one of the other one is it's another type of senior service. I can't think of the name, but I've worked with them once. But I usually contact family and friends. Like one of our dispatchers is friends with a client of mine, and she gets on their kids to help mom out, which they have. Some of the other things I do, I supervise the aquarium, I supervise the library and Northwest Natural Gas accounts for TCB. I do their timesheets, and I try to stay in contact with the contract, and I have a good rapport with Laura at the library. The aquarium, I've been part of the aquarium for almost 4 years. I was an officer there, senior officer, then now I'm their supervisor. I have a good group of guys that are working there now. It's a very strenuous job. We talk about training. It's a good month of training there, just to get to know, because
there's a lot that has to be done and
there is
supervised.
I would say it's about maybe 20% security, 80% husbandry, which is monitoring all the animals throughout the aquarium and all their systems. Other than that, I just do daytime patrols for the port. I do parking enforcement. So far this year, my goal is 200 citations. I'm at 193.
We're parked correctly, I swear.
Your safeness is important, but it's been a good time. You know, I dismiss a lot of tickets, like Matt does. You know, like a launch pass for launching your boat. It's a $6 permit pass, but it's a $40 ticket if they don't display it. Sometimes they just throw it on their dash, and it's not displayed properly, so I write a ticket. They'll come down here and show us the ticket and dismiss it. I don't have any problem dismissing a ticket if they can prove they made a mistake and they admit it.
So how long have you been working for TCB?
I'm going on my 4th year.
And it's a great place to work?
I haven't left yet. I love TCB. It's like a family. Matt and I are like brothers, even though he oversees what I do, but we get along really well. I couldn't think of a better place to work.
Wonderful. So Matt, let's talk about the event side of what you do. You're just coming off of summer.
Goodness. So we spend probably 4.5 months basically on the road, working events, festivals, fairs, all over the state. This year has been our biggest year so far. We expanded way further than I ever thought we would. We actually got to go to my hometown, Lakeview, Oregon, and do the fair there. And that was kind of a dream of mine, to go and do the security at the fair. And you know, it's a small little town. It was the 100th anniversary of the fair, and it was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of people I haven't seen in many, many years, and it was great. And so just that expansion that we have, we added the Klamath County Fair, Yamhill County Fair, Lake County Fair. We did a rodeo over in Vail, Oregon, which is basically Idaho.
Yeah, I was going to say it's over there.
We did the Pendleton Whiskey Music Fest, which was a lot of fun. Pretty crazy, some crazy entertainers there this year. But I mean, we've really expanded and kind of gone from just working over on the coast and in the valley to working at a lot of different locations throughout the state. And we're really trying to build on that and really just be one of the premier event staffing and security services in the state.
That's amazing. And let's talk a little bit about staffing. Is it difficult finding folks to do what you guys do?
It really truly is, and I don't think it's not because they're not out there. I think it's because people don't necessarily understand what we're looking for. So we're not asking somebody to commit to working a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of shifts. We have our full-time side, which is here on the coast, and we do expect that out of people, but we really we're very voluntary as far as our work schedule goes. So the way that it works is you go through a phone interview and you answer some questions. We decide if it's going to be a good fit or not. And then if we think it will be, you're added to our staffing system called StaffMate. And from there, what we can do is we basically publish all the events and things that we have going on. And so what that allows people to do is they get to pick and choose what they sign up for. So if they say, I want to work a concert in Eugene this weekend, I go sign up for it and I'm ready to go. If you don't want to work, you don't have to. It's one of the beautiful things. Now, getting people to sign up and kind of understand the way the system works, we have a lot of systems in place. Ken Tobin is our kind of our onboarding guy and our training officer. He handles a lot of that stuff. And we really try to encourage people, just take a look, think about going to an event, having a great time, interacting with people, and getting paid to do it.
So do you do events? I know summer is your primary time, but you do them year round, right?
We do. We have events nearly every weekend. We do anything.
You did Garth Brooks, right?
Yeah, we did Garth Brooks. That was insane. 120 staff for that one. And it was wild. Garth Brooks was one of my childhood heroes, and so it was great.
You said, "I'll sacrifice."
Oh, yeah. I guess I can do that. But I got paid to do it. I mean, and I shook his hand when he was coming off the stage, and he was a very gracious man and very down to earth, and I get to see him do a lot of things behind the scenes that most people don't, and it's something that I thoroughly enjoy, and something I encourage people to look into. It's a lot of fun. Like Tony said, this is a family environment. We have close to 400 employees in this company, and I don't think there's a single one that would tell you that it doesn't feel like we're a family. We really try to be there for each other and, reach out, and if somebody's in need or somebody has something going on, we really try to be there as a family unit for them.
Everybody kind of steps up and helps each other out, the families of the employees.
Yep, exactly.
And that's really important. All right, Matt, is there anything else that you want to talk about or anything else you want to add?
So a couple things. Today is Chief Robeson's birthday. Recently, Chief Robeson was in a wreck in Alabama. He's been in pretty rough shape, but he's taken a turn and making some progress, so we just want to wish him a happy birthday. He's a very good friend. He's been an employee of TCB for a long time. A great contributor and a great friend, great guy. So just thoughts and prayers to him and his family and for a speedy recovery. And we miss you. Hope everything's going good.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for talking with us today on Coffee with Kiera. It's been wonderful.
Great.
Tony, you're a sweetheart. All right, thanks for joining me for Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by the Human Being in Newport on Highway 101 and 6th Street, and in Lincoln City at the north end of Highway 101 on the west side near TLC. I almost said TCB. I'm Kiera Morgan for Pacific Northwest News and Entertainment.